All right, look at that. We're all the way back live. Let's see what happens on the
Joker director breaks down the opening scene for Vanity Fair.
Is that from Wired?
Yeah, Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of those. I watched the Penn and Teller ones.
You guys are gonna have to wait while we are live now.
Okay.
I thought the back end stuff was opened up, and it is not. But I have to go through YouTube beta.
We're live. We could talk to these folks out there still.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for being patient.
You can see us, but we can't see you.
We've added more wires to the table. That's the way we fix most of our problems.
We just added more shit.
All right, stream health looks mildly okay.
Mildly okay.
I still don't see any live.
Hold on, broski. My thing over here says we're live. So I don't know how you're gonna get to it.
We're live.
We're live.
You want the link?
Yeah.
You just want me to send you the link personally?
Or maybe it just didn't update. Okay, here we go. I got it.
All right, cool. And I can see this now. All right, what up, everybody?
Okay, yeah, send me the link because I can't get to it.
All right, sending you the link.
But like, shouldn't it just show up in the playlist?
I mean, it usually does, but sometimes that's a YouTube thing.
Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom bad.
All right.
Never mind, I got it. Yep.
All right. 2, 3. So, guys, we're gonna wait for Pat to come back. You're a massive fan. Oh, hey, thanks, Tina. What's up, Arrow? Itchy B wants to know Heath Ledger versus Joaquin Phoenix. Heath Ledger would win if you're talking about in a fight because Heath Ledger can blow stuff up. Oh,
yeah.
You like this shirt?
Yeah, that would be no contest.
Thank you, Lucy. I like this shirt too. Thank you.
Damn it, I can't get to the comments.
Yeah, I don't know actually how to pull up the comments on the phone. I've tried to do it.
It usually does it automatically. I think that's it. Okay, so where were we?
We're waiting for Pat is where we were. If you guys want to get all your accoutrements back ready.
Yeah. Do you guys want to hear some ASMR in the meantime?
Also, we did an unbox.
Of us opening shit?
No, it totally is the one that you bought. That's what we're doing the whole. We did an unboxing. You're gonna get it. You're gonna see it.
Do you guys want to hear?
Thanks, Michael Jazz.
Do you guys want to hear me chewing into the microphone?
You know what? If you want to give them a little bit of chewing into the microphone while I take my headphones off. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm just gonna.
You're just gonna muscle through it.
No. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna mute myself so I don't have to listen. All right, go for it. Welcome to Normies ASMR. Mickey will be masticating gummy snacks in your ear for the next hour and a half while we talk about the Joker. God, all right, please. The fucked up part is that I'm gonna have to edit that, and I'm gonna be in my chair. All right, so guys, we're back. We're back to talk about
Mickey,
the Joker.
Be very careful with all those wires by your feet. It just looks haphazardly in your shoe.
Yep.
Like,
oh God.
literally.
Oh, that whole thing fell. All right, cool. Listen, nobody move. No, nobody move anywhere.
Nobody breathe.
The whole entire table is set to explode. This thing
breathe,
over here,
the internet will break.
It's all fucked. All right, so we were talking about Joaquin Phoenix's performance. We were talking about. I said it reminded me of his crazy mockumentary. Turns out, dude's a great actor. He can play unsettled very well. Sweet. So now, favorite character in the movie and why?
Besides the Joker?
Yes, besides the
Okay,
Joker.
can I go?
Oh man.
Sure.
No, if it is the Joker, if all yours is the Joker and you all have different reasons why you like him, go for it.
No, I will say Joker was my favorite, but I'll pick somebody different. And I did not look off your cheat sheet when I thought of this guy.
No, you're good.
Because I like this guy, Robert De Niro. So that was, I think,
Murray.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. I've never seen him play that role before because I've always seen him in funny movies. Not really.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I've actually no Departed. Was he in Departed?
No.
You probably saw him like Meet the Parents.
Yeah.
And, like some.
For real?
Yeah.
He was more.
You saw him out
like,
of his.
I wouldn't like flamboyant. Like he was more like he doesn't
Yeah,
usually do stuff like
he's
that.
a stiff
crazy.
guy.
He's yeah. I mean, he was in Goodfellas and.
That's where I know De Niro from. Like,
for real?
I
Casino.
think what he's trying to say, he usually plays like the stiff, like macho kind of
Yeah,
roles.
and like this guy,
I
he's
think
like
he was a lot-
he's a host. He's happy going.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like he's like everyone like wants to be around him. He's relatable. But anyways, I like the way how he gave because again, well, it's not really his acting role, but I like the character. He gave the Joker a chance, like to like explain the side of the story, even though when everyone's like, hey. Let him go. He's crazy, or like we don't want this kind of attention. He's like, no. It was this TV show, and he wanted like everyone was telling him, no, bring him on, and they're like he wanted them on. So it just showed that the time and right, like even no matter what, like people are willing to take risks, even in their crafts.
See, I took it as though that Maury was doing it because he knew it was going to be good for ratings. I didn't think he was doing it because he's like, I want to hear, this guy's side of the story.
Okay.
Because he was like, I think he brought him there.
Risks.
He brought him there to like low key bully him. Like he was like, this dude sucked at the comedy show. He's gonna come here and he's like Edward Hong. You remember that one dude from American Idol who sung terribly and like they toured this motherfucker around the world?
William Hung.
What did I say?
He made an album.
He made a fucking album. So like I thought it was like that, where like he was the punchline of the joke, and Maury was like, we're gonna bring this guy on and like low key roast him, or just let him like fuck himself up and laugh at him. Like I thought that was the point.
But he has some genuine concern for him too. I feel like.
I could kind of see both because like when he was they had the interactions, he didn't seem like too
Bullying,
too bullying of a person.
I interpreted it as he wanted a fucking ratings.
No, I mean-
that could still be a risk. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone was literally telling him, "Hey, let's not do this. This clown protest outside. Like, we can't do this right now." It's another reason why I think that was real. But he had been given ample opportunity to not bring him on. I think he kind of brought that on himself.
So I wasn't saying that it wasn't a risk. I was just saying that like I didn't interpret him as he was like, I want to hear this guy's side of the story. Like I want this guy to give a chance to like speak for himself and tell people like what he's going through. I literally thought it was gonna be like, yo, like let's fucking like fuck him up.
So I don't disagree with you, and now talking to you guys both, that it makes sense. But don't you think it's still he gave him a chance to say his side of the story because he was able to be on the show and the masses heard of his side of the story. So even though he brought him, his intent was to bully him, but the masses heard about his side of the story.
He gave him the platform.
But he gave him the platform.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he rolled the dice, Maury, and I think he lost because like that's the last thing anybody needed was for the fucking Joker to get on TV. I mean, we saw Dark Knight, we saw that shit went like it was the last thing that needs to happen, and it fucking blew up in everybody's face.
My favorite character, not because I like the character because she was barely in it, but Zazie Beetz because I have a huge crush on Zazie Beetz. Hi,
I do
Zazie.
too.
If you're watching this, you're not watching this, but hi, Zazie.
Also, Zazie high as well. Also,
Started
have a crush.
watching Atlanta again. She's really good in that.
She's
fine.
we really enjoy your work. Were you gonna go?
Yeah, I like De Niro as well, just for the subtle nod to Taxi Driver. So it shows that the filmmakers were aware of what this was.
Yeah.
I mean, that was definitely a purposeful choice of casting.
Oh, and King of Comedy.
Oh yeah,
Scorsese flick.
yeah, and it's just I was gonna say that's just interesting that Scorsese directed Taxi Driver, right?
Yeah.
And he's the one that says like he just recently was saying that comic book movies are theme park rides, not films.
Yeah.
And I wonder what he would say about this movie.
I mean, he'd probably say the same thing, and that's how Scorsese feels, and I disagree with him. I do think that if we keep adding like 3D and all the extra shit, that like 10 years from now, a comic book movie will just be like the Spider-Man theme park ride. But no, man, plenty of these movies are actually films. Like, dude needs to he doesn't need to get off his high horse. He's an old fucking dude. That's just how old people they feel a certain way about the old school. So
They don't like
let him be an old head. That's fine. Everybody's gonna stay on their new wave. I dug Zazie Beetz in it because I was really thinking that she was going to be like this kind of counterbalance to the Joker, where she was gonna bring him down and be like, hey, like I thought that him losing her was gonna be like the final straw, and I really thought that it was interesting that a woman like her would be interested romantically in a guy like the Joker. I was kind of being like, man, that's fucking weird. This is like an interesting way to take it. And then probably about the hospital scene, I was like, okay, she's not real.
Oh, you got it too.
Like right around, because I was like, I don't know, there's something about it. I'd have to watch it again to feel like what it is that tipped me off. But I was like, oh, okay, like because it's a movie about a character who has psychological issues. Like, it's not cliche per se, but like I tried to watch fucking Fight Club with Marquetta, and like when first time I watched Fight Club, blew my mind. Marquetta's never seen a movie, and about halfway through, she's like, "One of these guys isn't real, right?" I was fuck, man, how do you know? She's like, I don't know, I've seen movies before. Like it's like written into the culture now. You know what I mean? Like some people can just see that shit coming.
So what was the hint that told you that she was fake in the hospital room when she was comforting him? Because I thought that was real. I know the fake part was when he rushed into the room.
Yeah,
that's when I was like into her apartment. But like,
so I thought he was creepy a bunch in general, and I was weirded out by why she wasn't weirded out by the creepiness. Like his creepiness it's very obvious. Like he fucking followed her to work and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's weird, right? But then when I don't know, she like left the room and just didn't come back, and I don't know. It was just
okay.
There was something about that scene that just I don't know what it is, man. But
I had that as my moment that I liked, like the little mid-movie twist.
Yeah.
Like it was a little tiny twist, and I didn't see it coming at all. Corey called it right in front of me. She was like, "She's not real," and I was like, "No, she's real."
I don't know, it's something there, man.
I guess there was a Red Letter Media's review. They said that there was there was like a kind of a hallucination scene earlier in the movie. That
The one where
was
he's
supposed to
on,
tip us
where
off.
he's on stage talking with Murray. He's like, if I had a son, he'd be just like you. Because like, that shit never happened.
It
But
shows you that he
it
suffers
was-
from delusions of grandeur.
That one was in the moment. This one, I felt like it was believable. Like she was in the hospital with him, and like time had passed, and they were getting closer. So, yeah, as my moment, real quick, I enjoyed that because it was just we were seeing this guy get shit on, and I'm thinking is at least he has this one human connection.
Yeah.
And then when that twist happened, it's like fuck, he's alone. He's been alone.
Yeah.
So so when with Zazie and all the stuff that was happening in the hotel, like I thought that she was going to be a good counterplay to him in general, and then he did still kind of lose her, and that was his thing that pushed him, like not pushed him over the edge, but that was the thing that was like, oh shit, like. And I really liked how they did it because he went and sat in the room, and I was having a hard time of figuring out how their living room is set up. Because like after he shot that hole in the wall, and then I kept thinking in my head that this movie's gonna like pull some fucking shit like Westworld any moment now. And then when he goes into that room, I'm like, oh, his mom like redid the couch. Like, when did that happen? He's sitting down. I'm like, no, there's like kids' toys around and shit. And then I'm thinking like, has he always been with her? Did he always live here? And then when she comes in and she's scared, I was like, oh, like, okay, so like that whole moment, like I still. Even though like I had hints of it coming, I still like the way that it landed.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And she's like, you're the dude from down the hall. She doesn't call him by his name or any of that. She's like, you gotta go. Like my daughter. So like she's like pleading for her life, like low key. And you're like, fuck. Okay, like that. I thought that was interesting, man.
I learned to accept the relationship like as the movie went on because I mean you just don't have a choice. But like I thought it was totally weird. Like I was like, why the fuck would she be into him? Like
Right.
he's like, were you following me all day? That's hot. Like,
Yeah, that was one of those movie things. Like, oh, I guess some girls are like this. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it
With
was
kids,
weird
too.
I thought it was weird from the get go, but like the movie does a good job of just making you kind of just believe it, I guess.
Can I throw something in there?
Yeah.
So remember the scene where I guess he had a rough time and something would happen. Then he went to her room and they started making out and whatnot.
Yeah.
So after that, his swag just changed. Like he had confidence. So that's when I thought it was. That's why I was like, this is real. Like, well, like he just sometimes like he got swag now.
Yeah.
He's got confidence because he was more confident after that. So I that's why I didn't realize it was like you couldn't tell it was fake from
Yeah,
that point.
shit, it's all in his head, man. He thinks he's like that, but like he's not. Like they got that part where he's in the comedy theater and he's laughing at all the wrong parts of the jokes. And like I was
Yeah.
like, is he doing like a fucking bit? But like no one else in the crowd's laughing, and it's just like him. Like I think that's like your hint that like this dude doesn't know what the fuck's going on,
Yeah.
like at all. Like society is wholeheartedly one way, and he is literally on the offbeat.
Yeah, and,
you're just
and,
like,
and,
Damn, I
fuck.
didn't catch that.
and the parts that everybody else was laughing, he'd be like, "What the fuck is so funny?" Like,
Yeah. So then like I was, you can't trust this fucking dude. Like what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like
I do think like he could not be the Joker like you guys were saying, but I could see this still being the Joker because like you said, he got all that swag and confidence. It might have been in his own machinations, but he did exude confidence. I think he was kind of together for a little bit when he felt like he was doing something and people were noticing him.
yeah.
And go on.
All right, go ahead and finish your thought.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, my bad. Well, the only thing is just like how old he is, and like I just feel like by the time Bruce becomes Batman, like
He'd be
this
an old man.
this guy
Oh, yeah.
would be near death.
Like Batman, let's say like 10 years that Bruce would be Batman as
So
like a
he's
teenager.
18-year-old Batman?
So I think it's not too much of a stretch because by that time, Joker will have been out of Arkham. He has an army of people that'll just do whatever he says because they probably view him as a god or icon.
Yeah.
And so with all that, because he just luckily got a gun from somebody. Luckily was in the right place at the right time. But
Yeah.
now if he like has all these resources, I could see him being the Joker.
I mean, even with his backstory, there's still a level of mystery because he was adopted, so you don't really know where he came from or what that fucking relationship was like. Maybe he was fucked up from the previous parents too. Like,
really dug the Thomas Wayne shit where he's kind of an asshole, and I was like, okay, this is some interesting shit. Like, wouldn't it be? And then there's a brief moment where you're thinking they were going to be brothers, and like you thought that their lives were going to be intertwined, but then like because they're not, because of the shit Joker does anyway, their lives end up being intertwined. So like
I thought it was kind of cool at
They're
first.
fucking
Like,
brothers.
what, they're fucking brothers? Yeah.
So I was like, that'll be a bit much, but like in a way now, like they are there. Like Joker helps to create Batman essentially, but like with Thomas Wayne being an asshole and like even like punching him, also like the subtle nods where he's just like, I'm the rich dude, I can fix the problems of Gotham, and like obviously Gotham has been trying to the fucking poor should eat the rich. They've been doing that shit, since fucking forever. It's even the big plot in Rise of the Dark Knight, or which one. So yeah, just Thomas Wayne like as as an asshole is interesting because the only thing we ever really get from Batman's dad is that he built this train system, he built this hub, he built this company, and he's fucking dead. And to give him some more color and be like, oh yeah, he's also a fucking prick though. Like I thought that was kind of tight.
So one thing I kind of mentioned when I was watching this movie was I was surprised by how they pictured Thomas Wayne, because I used to watch Gotham, the TV show, and I used to watch other Batman stuff, and like again, I know it's come from Batman himself, so obviously he's going to talk in a good light about his dad or other people around. But when other people would talk about Thomas Wayne, they had nothing but good things to say about him.
Yeah,
and like I thought he was like, I know he was a rich guy, and people wanted like, you know, they want to put that stigma of rich people like this, but I thought he was like one of the Bill Gates guys. Like, you know, yeah, he's rich, but he's more humanitarian. He's more societal based but in the movie they were like treated more, again, they were trying to make him portray more of as like a Donald Trump. Like he didn't give a fuck about the poor people. He was like, I'm doing you guys a fucking favor.
Yeah, he was also
like,
never ran for politics before, but everyone was like, he should be the mayor. Like,
right.
That shit was a straight knot.
Like maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that he could have been a good guy. Like punching Arthur in the face there is kind of reasonable at that point.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not saying he's not a good guy. I think
like,
he'd be an asshole.
We don't know who he was running against. He probably did have the best intentions for Gotham, and maybe I'm just going off of the Thomas Wayne I think I know. You know, maybe not this one, but he. Oh, by the way, someone said, did you see the super rats mentioned? Is that like a penguin reference or something?
No. The people are saying like this, like somebody asked, did they film this in New York because they were like literal huge ass fucking rats?
Just straight capybaras.
Yeah. No, there was like on the news, weren't they saying like there's super rats?
Oh, really? Oh, I must have missed that.
It was hard for me to catch some of the news stuff on it because I was in the IMAX and when it's moving.
I'm sorry, I'm like jumping around all over. A film buff, I do think the big moment with the crowd at the end was real because every fake moment in this movie that was there was shown to us that, okay, this was fake.
Yeah.
Like all the other things were real.
So the thing that I think that they do and it's not confusing. It's probably one of the reasons why the movie warrants a second watch is like, so what, this motherfucker survives a car crash, like 2 car crashes where other people die in and he's fine and he pulls out and like he's standing on top of the car. Like how, like it feels like it is a delusion, but also it's a comic book movie. So like, is it a delusion or is it the shit that's happening in the universe? And like,
that's why I like this movie because it could go both ways. Like that's, I don't know. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, moving down.
We are going to talk about the controversy at the end, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, the next question is, what do you think the message or the theme of the movie is? And then the next one is into like the controversy around all the other shit.
Ooh, can I go?
Yes, jump right on at it.
Okay, so I think the message of the movie is, I don't know, it's hard to say, but I think it's maybe society creates its own monsters, but then at the same time, you look at Arthur Fleck and his background. Obviously, he was abused, and me and Pat are also watching Mindhunter right now, not for reactions, just on our own time. But I'm looking like I'll take. Are you allowed to do that? I'll take him and contrast him with BTK. BTK has a roof over his head, a wife. Normal middle.
This isn't spoilers, right? It's the big dude
what
from
is
the end, right?
normal middle class kind of family.
Explain BTK to people that don't know.
BTK is bind, torture, kill. He was a famous serial killer that killed from 76 to 91 and was never caught until he intentionally fucked up and got himself caught. But basically, I don't know much about his backstory yet either, but like upbringing has a lot to do with it. But the thing with Arthur Fleck is like we definitely sympathize with him and we definitely are made to feel sorry for him, and even the speech at the end, like, you brought me here to make fun of me, like you created me type thing. But Arthur was kind of fucked up from like kind of the get-go, and this could be because he was abused, and it's evidenced by his it's evidenced by the Notebook. Every time the Notebook comes out, it was very subtle. They never really focused on it, but like I don't know if that was like a diary or he kept like funny shit in there. But
it was like notes. Remember his social worker was telling him to write things down.
Right.
It was also super sexual too. They were
exactly. That's what I was trying to get at. They would show flashes of these like images where it was like naked women, sometimes like a cross over their face. So he's had really fucked up thoughts. So it's like it's this I think it's that thing of like, he's crazy, but when you're crazy, you don't know you're crazy. And so like he does a good job of trying to be sympathetic, but that
I do feel like he knew he was, though, because he was seeking help. He was already seeking a social worker, and then the city cut funding, and then he could no longer take his meds anymore. And then, like I think he tried everything that he was supposed to reasonably try.
Yeah. And that's the fine balance, because like he is a fucked up individual, but society is also fucked up. It's all fucked up. It's just all fucked up.
I just want to elaborate on what you just said. I totally agree 100% agree that society creates the monsters the way that they created Joker. As far as like, again, I don't know the backstory on this movie because it's been like a week since we watched it, so you guys could help me out. He was adopted by the mother, who was also delusional. So obviously whatever mental illness she had, she did not pass it on to him because he was adopted.
Possibly, or also he was hit really hard in the head by like a radiator or some shit.
Oh,
he was
I
like
thought he was
handcuffed to a
chained to the
radiator,
radiator,
and then like he had trauma to his head.
So it wasn't his mother; it was his mother's boyfriend that did that to him.
Yeah, but the
she
mom like
allowed it.
said and let it happen.
Let it happen. So like obviously he saw that, like when you're a young kid and you see all this shit, and you somehow like he was a kid growing up as an adopted, so he probably didn't have that many friends. He was probably in a bad light already. He was probably in the dark zone.
Yeah.
And then now on top of that, you have a horrible mother, and then you get abused, like you just said. It's not like he may have been okay, normal. But all that shit make him crazy. Because again, he's lonely. He has no one to talk to. So all that shit, you have no one to talk to. Now you're getting abused. So you have no one to talk to you about your abuse. All that shit festers in your head. As long as more and more it festers in your head, now more and more that shit becomes real. Because you have no one can tell you that's wrong. So more and more that becomes real in your head.
Yeah.
Now you just go out. Like you may have created your own self as being crazy. He may not have been crazy born, but he made himself crazy. And it's not anyone. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his mother's fault. But it was just in a bad situation that he was in. Yeah. Now, as far as the society's fault, this is where I say it was society's fault on like him becoming that person he is, not because he's crazy, was because look, they took funding away. He was like what he said. He was legitimately trying to be on the narrow path. Yep. He wanted to change his life around. That was his goal. He had goals. Like he was wanting to be a comedian. He like any normal person. They have goals they want to pursue. But soon as something like your anchor, like your medicine that's supposed to get you there, doesn't get you there, and they take that away, and then now you take his social worker away, and now again he's back to where he was a little kid, being alone, no one to talk to anymore. He's secluded by his crazy mother. Now you have a crazy mother giving you delusional theories or whatever, and now you just fester that in your head, and you're already crazy. It was just a bad mix. And I'm just rambling off of this shit, but I
feel you, man, because like I think the theme of the movie, or especially what I caught from the movie, and I get on the same thing too, is that hey, there was this social safety net that was built, and like funding has been cut for it, right? And who knows who's to blame? There's obviously some politics in play there, and without this fucking funding, you can get a dude like the Joker, and then also he's a fucking mentally ill dude who gets like an unregistered handgun. So like, that's it. He's like, poof, I got the gun. I've already got this mental health issues, and then like my social safety net's gone. What's up?
So no, go on with your point. I don't want to interrupt your point. This is about Thomas Wayne and whether or not he's actually Arthur Fleck's father. I don't think that. I mean, I thought the movie made it clear that he was adopted.
Yeah, no, the movie, I felt like it made it 100% clear.
Yeah, well, like I've seen a few messages in the chat now, people saying like, are they brothers? Like, I think Thomas Wayne really is Arthur Fleck's mom. I don't think so. There were adoption papers. His mom was clearly a little insane. That's why he killed her. And that's it. Yeah,
so what I'm saying is like, dude essentially had all the things set up to make him a mass shooter. And like, I think even if the movie's playing around with the idea, it's obviously saying something about that, because I don't know how it could not be when those are all the conversations that we usually have around mass shootings in America and shit. And then he goes to like pop 3 rich dudes and the whole fucking country freaks out, or the whole city freaks out, but they freak out in a way that's like for him and for that, because there's already this class warfare. So when it comes to those messages, like, I think you gotta take away what you can from it, because of the unreliable narrator, and like some of it seems a little muddy, and I don't know if that's because it was written to be muddy, because that's the way that he's seeing it, and he's the one that's telling us to it.
Yeah,
you know, even like there was the moment in the hospital, the freaking great ass moment when he drops that gun, and it's like full of tension, and it's funny, and it's scary. Like all that shit seemed like those were the real things that were happening to this guy that was leading him down this path, and then like his meds were gone, and that was it. And then he was just like, "Fuck it."
It was the only thing that was left for him to be normalcy was those meds. Because like,
and his mom,
well, if you're a kid and you're being abused, and your mom was like the reason why, it's gonna fuck the shit out of you. And like, it just shows that. And like you said, like, mass murders are created through mental illnesses, but then also we could prevent that shit. Like legitimately prevent.
But you can't prevent home life. Like nobody knows what goes on.
Right. Yeah. But you could be mentally ill, but mentally ill does not include mass murders.
Yeah.
You know, like that is not correlation.
Yeah.
Like I think mentally ill does not, like people are saying we gave a mentally ill a person a gun. That I don't want people to think, okay, if we give a mentally ill person a gun, they just automatically become a mass shooter. That's totally. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's like. It's just in the situation that you're in. I don't think every mentally ill person should not have a.
We are reading the
know.
comments, guys.
I don't know.
Everybody keeps
I might
talking
disagree
about
slightly.
a picture.
Because mentally also-
A picture with super rats versus super cats, apparently.
No, there was a picture
There
of
was
Thomas Wayne.
There was a picture,
Mm-hmm.
and I am having a hard time recalling. So I'm gonna go see this movie again. So
Yeah, we saw the movie once. If there's stuff that we're missing, I mean, this is essentially our first viewing and us talking about it. We are going to see it again because, like I said, it's the type of movie that requires
but
that.
the thing is, with this movie, I think it is intentionally written muddy. Like some people, I mean, I like the debate that we're having is whether he is or isn't. But is or isn't is the whole point of this movie because we're experiencing it from Arthur Fleck's mind. And so I really don't think you can flat out say anything is 100% sure in this movie because you just don't know. And that's what I personally...
and in this world, because
Yeah,
like
that's what I
said-
personally like about this movie is like it is so interpretable.
Someone said like you don't have to be mentally ill also to do something like the Joker did.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you know, it's obviously people are just like that.
So, what did you guys think?
Oh, can I just add one thing to the mom thing? So he probably developed the laugh thing pretty early in his childhood because she kept saying he was always such a happy boy.
Yeah.
And so he probably developed it. It's so fucked up, dude. That scene where he's like discovering the adoption file in the stairwell.
That was
Oh man,
With
dude,
Paperboy.
Joaquin Phoenix's performance was fuck.
Two people from Atlanta in this movie.
Goosebumps,
Zazie Beetz
like
and
straight,
Paperboy.
and a lot of smaller actors that I haven't seen in so long. I'm gonna look their names up, but I saw so many, not cameos, but like there were a lot of smaller actors that are recognized from like there was one guy in there from Mad TV. I'm gonna look their names up, but go on.
So, all right. Here's pretty much the last point we're talking about is all the controversy surrounding the film.
Wait, can I talk about what I think the film was about?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Everybody went to me. I forgot. Go for it.
I think it's mental health, but it's about being more aware of mental health. Like these days, we have a strong focus. Yesterday was World Mental Health Day. It probably would have been nice to release Joker yesterday, right? But I think it's almost like people saying thoughts and prayers when we say like we need to be more we need to be more knowledgeable about mental health. Like let's actually do that.
Yeah.
Because I was talking in the review about this is a bad example. It's a comment I read, but it's like, when you're in elementary school and there's an autistic kid in your class and you don't even know what autistic means at that point, but you just know that there's a kid in your class who's different and you're not told anything about him, what his affliction is, why he's like that. And I think we as a society, like that black woman who was just like, don't fucking look at my son. And even he gave her the card and she didn't even return the card. Like people need to be more reasonable and more knowledgeable and aware about all the different types of mental stigmas. So like when we do interact with someone who's like could have the potential to be a monster, we shouldn't think that about people, but we
may
should be
help
more aware.
resolve that. Like if we treat mentally people just like, if we don't treat them as invisible people, then I think it would change a lot of the landscape. Like I think what happens is we treat them as a second citizen because they can't talk, they can't do anything. We have to take care of them. So we're like, okay, let's just, as long as we give them the bare necessities, they'll be all right. But again, if you go to psychology, every human wants to be loved. Every human wants security, and they want, a connection. Well, if they don't have that, and the only way they could get that is through their own head in their own world, they're just gonna get fucked up. So I feel like again, it comes from elementary school. When we're in elementary school, they physically don't put these kids in the same classroom as us, I think that's a mistake.
And when they do, it's just like, oh, there's that kid. Like, there's no
assimilation.
There has to be an easier way to integrate people so that
yeah.
we can learn from a young age that we shouldn't be treating anybody with a mental illness like they're invisible. Like we need to tighten up society.
One of my favorite shots from the film, actually, and I think this might have happened in the comedy club, but he is writing something down in this notebook, and the camera pans to the notebook, and the thing he wrote was, "People expect you to behave as if you don't."
The funny part about mental illness is that people expect you to behave like you don't have it, or something like that, right?
No. It's don't have it, but he stopped at don't. So it's like people expect you to behave as if you don't. And really, like anytime he had an interaction with anybody, it was weird. It was socially awkward. But like he wasn't. It's awesome. I mean, everybody's guilty of that. Like I'm guilty of that. When somebody just has a little bit too much energy, I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Like you're trying to end the conversation and just kind of. I mean, so yeah, I think awareness
sometimes
is a big part
sometimes
of
all it needs is like acknowledging that they exist. Like
Yeah.
just hi, like how, like maybe they not can't communicate, but just like be in their presence. That's what
Yeah.
they need sometimes.
Like one video that made me think way differently of any autistic person or what they're going through is it was like this girl who lived with autism her whole life, but just started like typing what she feels. Like otherwise she can't talk. She's like smears her fecal on the walls. She's like going like this. Like she's basically couldn't communicate until they finally figured out that she could type it like real quick. Cool. And then when she was typing it, she was describing what she was feeling, and that she does all that because it's like sensory overload. Like she's getting so much information in her head that like she can't even comprehend it. And then like that's when you're just like like. So I mean, it just makes you like these people are all people. They're going through things, and if we just try to understand them, maybe they'd feel less invisible.
And I mean, it's hard, and that's why it gets pushed aside, because the easy thing to do is pretend like they don't exist, and that's shitty. And that's when people get talked like that and treated like that, you can get bigger problems into society.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Awesome.
You guys want to talk about the controversy?
Controversy.
Okay, wait. Before can I mention?
How can it be so? Look at the nice topics we're talking about, and people want to say this was controversial.
So the three people that apparently Mark Maron was also in this movie at some point, but the three people that I recognize, and I don't know from where: Josh Pies, Shea Wiggum, and Brian Callen. Those were the three actors, and it was just more of that, oh yeah, that guy kind of moment. But it was nice to see some familiar faces.
Mark Maron.
You know who Mark Maron is? He's a comedian. He's got a podcast and stuff.
Mark Maron, you have a podcast?
Yeah, Mark Maron has a
Mark
podcast.
Maron's listening to our podcast?
I'll tell you what, Thomas Wayne was played by someone from a show that I will not mention.
Is it Lost in Space?
Yes.
All right, so listen, here's my take on the controversy for the movie. I think, I don't remember who it was, but the ass who said this movie is going to inspire incel violence had nothing to write about that day, and so he wrote that. By writing that, it's drummed up a shit ton of controversy. People on the right are freaking out. People on the left are freaking out. Everyone's talking about it, and the only person that's benefiting is Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, somehow, I just have to believe that they were like, if we manufacture just enough controversy around this movie, we'll get all the marketing. And like, they did it. And I don't think that they actually did it, but like, it just worked so well for them because like this controversy just meant people had to go see it. People were like, I'm going to hate this movie, but I need to know what it's about. Everyone had videos out last week about it. There were literally my whole entire like YouTube, like subscription box. Everyone had a different video to say something about the Joker because right now it's happening in a moment. And it's like a cultural moment where everybody wants to like, is ready to write some shit off before they see it or not. And then boom, they get to see it. And like, it's like, and I think that if I'm giving the film less credit than it's due, is because all that shit has gotten caught up, like, and I'm hearing it and I'm seeing it, and in my head it's so big and grandiose that like if I'd have never seen the movie, it'd probably lived under my head as being this fucking incomparable crazy thing. But then you see it and it's grounded, and I'm like, damn, it's a good movie, but like fuck, it's not worth any of this controversy. Like, why the fuck is anybody freaking out about this? Like, god damn it, like, and then I don't know. I'm just thinking that it's gonna be like, I've seen a Serbian film. That movie's fucking ridiculous. It's like, I don't know, when you say people are freaking out about this shit on the news, it makes me think it's going to be the worst thing ever. It's going to be crazy
Lars
gory.
Ventry, whatever his name is, who does like crazy butthole testicle shots on it. I don't know.
You know,
it wasn't bad. I think I was thinking about what you said about how if it was purposeful, and I was like, I don't think so, because people freak out about stupid shit like video games. Mm-hmm. But I do think if that thread started, Warner Brothers, if they were smart, they would.
Oh, I think they were just like,
yeah.
The investors are probably all looking at each other like they're. I imagine
like, free money.
Because even like Corey was like, hey, you want to see Joker tonight? I was like, really? Okay, let's go. And like, you know, it's just like you said, people that don't normally see movies like, well, I got to see this because everyone's talking about this.
Yeah. And it definitely wasn't. It's blown out of proportion a little bit. I mean, I can see where the controversy is coming from, but like people were saying it's super gory, there were like, I mean, it wasn't not gory, but literally four
one
instances
of them was
in a 2 hour.
Hilarious. The one with the midget, the little person go by him
with the door. I was like, oh my god, like that felt like Joker shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a joke. Like he's like, that's the joke. Like if he's told it as stand up, he'd be like, the joke is that like I kill a guy, but then like he literally even slit the lock. Like he said it like that was the setup to the joke, and the punchline was he couldn't reach the lock. That was fucking hilarious. That shit was like if the movie had just a little bit more, I was like, oh my god.
And what did he say? You were always nice to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, see what happens, and being nice pays off.
Yeah.
Shout out to all 133 of you. I hope we have at least 100 likes on this video.
Yeah. I did want to
Please, por
mention the
favor.
joke that I hope my death makes more sense than my
Yes,
life.
can I say something about that?
Yeah.
All right, so when he said that, I was like, and then the whole setup was like, oh, he's going to kill himself at the end of the thing because I thought that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I obviously was surprised that he killed the talk show host, De Niro. But going back to what you guys were talking about, the controversy of like being manufactured and whatnot, I don't think it was being manufactured. I think what happens is just like in regular society, somebody says something and no one has no context or has not seen anything, but they just want to get riled up for no damn reason because they had too much coffee that fucking morning or something like that, or I don't know, but they just want some attention, you know, for some like-minded people because I always want that. My thing was, it wasn't manufactured, but I do know that after that happened, I didn't see that many Joker trailers or movies. Warner Bros. Like, hey, we really don't need to put money into like,
They're gonna talk about it for us.
They're gonna do it for us, you know. So I do see Warner Bros. Taking advantage of it, but I don't think they manufactured it. And then another thing I wanted, sorry. Sorry. Another thing I want to talk about is like, the controversy over this is not it was too gory because again, like you guys all said this before, John Wick and all these other movies are way too gory and they get the popularity in the mainstream, right?
Yeah.
This movie's not getting that is because the mainstream is emotionally afraid because they feel like it's their fault and they don't want to be feeling that responsibility and they want to say, hey, if this movie comes out, we're going to have more and more people like this and it's going to cause more and more mass murders, but they don't understand that we're the ones that created this and movies need to come out like this. So we to have a conversation. And now like we're doing, it's like, hey, we could stop this. Like if we just understand what mental illness is, maybe not like stop every single mass murder, but like tremendously bring it down. And it's just, as a movie like this is needed.
Yeah.
It is needed, but people need to understand this. People want to say it's glory because they're just afraid of it. Like they don't want to take responsibility of the monster they're
They just
creating.
want to sweep the problems under the rug.
Yeah.
To Chris's point, I don't know if I've met anyone that thinks this movie's controversial. So who is saying it?
It feels like it was
saying
literally.
it?
I think the person who wrote it, and I'll need to double check, but it feels like it was like a slow news day, right? Some dude's probably just because you got to write fucking articles on the internet. Some asshole's like, I don't know, man. I bet this movie, like, you know what I mean? Or someone's up in arms about it, like this is really how I feel. But it felt like it was like 5 people, and then it fucking snowballed. I did want to say though that I did dig, or like when the Joker's like, it's not political. Like I'm not political, motherfucker. Like. You're making a political statement. Like, is that the movie saying that it's not political while solidly making
I think so.
multiple political statements? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's like real tongue in cheek. And like, I like that. Like, because it's like, people, if anyone, the Joker, as we think of him, as I thought of him, I always thought of him as like an agent of chaos, right? You know, I'm just a dog chasing a car. I don't know what I'll ever do if I catch him. That's Heath Ledger's Joker. This guy, sure, he wants to say that he's not political. Even Arthur Fleck himself is saying that. But if you go on TV wearing the political accoutrements or whatever happening out in the streets.
But he had already made that though. Like that was him before.
I know that was him before, but once the culture switched,
Then
if Normies is this thing now, something big happens as Normie is something afterwards, and we're still repping Normies, that's a statement. Even if you don't want it to be. If when people look at you and you're like, you're doing the statement thing, you're like, well, no, but that conversation is being had. You're incepted that shit into their mind, so like, it's out there already, you know?
Also, Pat, the Warner Brothers did, I don't know if it's because of controversy, but they did say they were only going to put out 2 trailers to this. Like they did the one and like the final, which was good because I didn't know anything about this movie going in.
I'll be honest, when I saw the 2 trailers, I wasn't interested in the movie. I was not really, because again, this is not my type of movie.
Yeah.
Like it was way too RC for me. But after hearing like all this controversy, like I gotta go check it out. Why? What's this controversy?
Last thing I'll say about the controversy is I think the people who are complaining, I don't know who they are, but if you're out there, like I think they just want to blame anything but themselves.
Exactly.
Or like just want like this super safe space. And like Joaquin said, it's not the filmmaker's job to teach you morality.
Yep.
It's not.
So the last thing, and we can talk about it a little more if it keeps going, but like the military had to put out that thing about the Joker where they were like, hey, this movie's coming out, and if you're going to go to theaters, be on your P's and Q's and be watching out for shit. There were more security guards put out at theaters because of the Aurora shooting that happened during a Dark Knight movie. Hold on, in that Dark Knight movie, people were saying that guy said that he was the Joker, he was trying to be like the Joker, but that was actually a misquote. One of the cops said something like that, like in it, and people took it and run with it. So it wasn't even that dude. He even said, like on record, record. He was like, I shot up that movie because I knew it was going to be a popular opening movie. It didn't have anything to do with the lore of the Dark Knight or people being like that. So it's like all these like little tiny seeds of like misinformation where people have like made these fuck ups, but because it's sensationalism and because a better story, which is shitty, it's super shitty that a mass shooting isn't the best story possible, but a better story is that dude did it because he wanted to be like the Joker, said he was a Joker. That story's way up here, and that shit's gonna stick with you because Brandon Builder, it's a better story.
Also, that guy who shot up the Dark Knight Rises theater, he was not. Even I thought it. He was not dressed up as the Joker.
No, he just had like
People
colorful
said
hair,
that. Yeah, he
and
just
they were
had
like
colored red hair.
and that's the fucking thing. Like all this shit runs wild, and then we get all the way down here today where it's like, and everyone has their own way they feel about it. And then Todd Phillips, the director, he says he doesn't want to make comedies anymore because people get too offended these days, and you can't make comedy. So he wanted to make this movie so he could sneak in like an actual movie into. I called him Brandon Builder. I meant Brandon Builder. He said he wants to sneak in this actual movie, an actual movie into the comic book world. And so I don't know. I think I disagree with Todd on a lot of things. I think he made a good movie.
I
I
hardly doubt it was even him that deserves credit for that. I mean, I know he directed, but fuck me, Joaquin Phoenix really killed it.
I think his role, his acting took that next role. But going back to what you were saying about the road shooting and like the misinformation, there's also another misinformation I found out. It was just until today. The guy who claimed, the cop who claimed that this guy was like a Joker, like he wanted to be like a Joker, he was an NYC cop. NYC, so he's 2,000 miles away from it. So how the fuck does he know about that situation?
Just talking out of his ass.
Yeah. So, but it's funny how we as a society don't fact check shit. Like we just want to get riled up just right away.
Yeah, but I mean, it's because like, well, one, I think people read less, but like with news, like the news has to have a hook. It has to be a story. Someone brings you one story, you're like, all right, that's actually a good story, but people don't give a shit. I don't know. It's us, man. I think, and it's not a bad thing, but I think because of how much information we have out in the world that we can easily get like, you know, it's like if this isn't the next big thing, if this isn't the next ridiculous story, then like, you know, it doesn't exactly hook me, but some dude dressed like the Joker shooting up a theater claiming he's the Joker, that's a bigger hook. It's shitty. It is. Society, man. Society.
We're too connected, and the slightest piece of misinformation will have a very big ripple.
Nowadays, people don't believe, like, I think like 80 or 85% of people don't believe like anything they see on the internet. Even if it's real. Even if it's like real.
I honestly don't watch the news anymore because I just see the news as a biased source.
Yeah, Philip DeFranco all the way.
I just like him because he admits his bias. All right, so yeah, you know. Oh my God.
What do you guys think? Like,
the screen is
there
suddenly
someone
black.
who thought it was controversial that's watching? And if they did, please don't jump on their back. I just want to know.
I want to hear their side of the story because totally. Because I didn't see it, but I want to hear why they thought it was.
Cam Link crashed again, guys.
Aww.
All right.
Screen went black.
I know.
We're close to the end, right?
I mean, we're at the end because Cam Link
No,
crashed.
they can hear us at least.
They can hear us. Hey guys, this is my face. If anybody else wants to, well, you guys can't all slide around. It's just gonna be black screen.
That's cool.
Can I just address the Thomas Wayne thing real quick? Because I just gave it some thought and just like how open ended the movie is. I don't think that I do think that he was adopted, but if the mom was telling the truth that it was her son, Thomas Wayne is a rich motherfucker in power, and he
switch the documents. I was thinking that.
And he would want to make that go away, and women didn't have a whole lot of say in things, and so he could have landed her in the madhouse, and paid for some fake documents to say he. I mean, it could be. So that's what I fucking love about this movie. Is it or isn't it? You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
But like, how the fuck the ages don't make sense to me. Like, so did he knock her up?
I mean, like
30, 40 years ago? Like,
I had a hard time figuring out how she would get the kid back after he was taken away.
Yeah, you think he wanted to have his kid.
Oh, fuck. What if that's it? Because if she abused this kid and it's on record and she went to the mental asylum, how would she ever get the kid back, right? You just would never get your kid back. Mm-hmm. So what if that's the problem? What if that paradox is how you know that Thomas Wayne like faked this shit?
No, wait, I don't get it. What?
So look, if my mom abused the fuck out of me, and then she went to an insane asylum.
It wasn't the mom. It was her boyfriend.
Mom and boyfriend, but the mom was in the. I'm saying if your mom got committed and you don't have a dad, who's going to take care of you? Where was the Joker at? Where was Arthur at for that period of time when she was in the asylum? He was born already. Where was he at?
I think she was in the asylum before he was born, right?
Because wasn't he? It was on file in the asylum that she had been abusing him.
Because when she was doing the interview, it's like you stood by and watched your fucking kid get abused by your boyfriend.
The timeline wouldn't make sense.
Also, Martha Wayne. She looks like 60 years old. How the fuck did Bruce get born? Like Bruce is like a 10-year-old child in this movie, and Martha Wayne is like an old granny. So I don't know. Some
rich people frozen eggs.
Some things here. I'm confused.
I've officially changed it to Thomas Wayne did fake it.
I don't know. I don't believe it.
The timeline didn't make sense.
The whole the unreliable narrator thing. I think is only like those. It was only those like two things in the movie, I think. Him imagining being on Maury and then him imagining Zazie. Because everything else, then it's just like, why make a fucking movie then? Well, I thought we were driving into the... I know Joker's not supposed to have origin and it's supposed to be confusing, but then why are you making this?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, man. Whatever they did worked.
Also, guys, everyone listening, we do know the screen's black, but hold on, we are hitting on a really good point here. Is that like with an unreliable narrative, is the message just take away your own message from the film? Is that the message? Can a film not have a message if it has an unreliable narrator like that?
I mean, I think that there was still a message there, but it's
no, because then you don't know what was real or fake.
But that's the point of the Joker. That's the point of his character. You don't know.
So we can't infer any meaning from this because we don't know what was real.
You can infer meaning, but it is a lot of it.
The social worker. He faked the meds. He faked the little person.
Open to interpretation. I'm just saying the way
I don't believe
it's written.
That. I believe only two things were fake,
and that's fine. You're open to believe that, and I'm open to say that it's open to interpretation. Like we're experiencing it from his mind. Whatever you want to believe happened.
When I was typing my notes last night, it got deep, and I was just like, is any of this real? Is any of the message real? Is it all bullshit? Like, what is it? And then I like spiraled out to the point where I was like, there's no point in bringing any of that up, but then Serge brought it up. So like, because it's, I don't know. But the timeline shit, I'm gonna think more on this timeline shit because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I got to think more about that too. The photo, the fact that like her initials were on the photo, like someone said, like, well, if that was if that was Arthur's mom that wrote that, why wouldn't she have just wrote the whole name? That's not an argument. She could have just wrote the initials.
Yeah.
Like, why would she? I don't know.
But I'm literally though, like when she was in the insane asylum, where was Arthur? And then how would she have ever gotten Arthur back?
I'm gonna go. I can't wait to see this movie again because of this podcast.
I kind of want to see it.
I want to go back and notice all these things if they were or weren't there.
All right, guys. Screen is black as fuck, so I think we're gonna
we almost
transition
done.
this.
Also, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the screen's black. So
yeah, I don't know if anyone pointed it out yet.
Hey guys, thanks for sitting with this very problematic podcast. Not in the conversation that we're having, but in the technology that we are dealing with. Thanks for sitting through with it. It will be up next week. You will be able to watch it or you will be able to listen to it on Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, or on YouTube's.
This podcast was a joke.
Whole joke. Actually, no, this is performance art. We did all this on purpose.
So Joaquin Phoenix played the Joker and Joaquin Phoenix was in Walk the Line.
Well, what up, Roderick? I see you, man. Also, everybody, we see all you guys out there. If we didn't get a chance to shout you out, just let it be known. You know, we're trying to keep it moving. But hell yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for checking it out.
We're not doing questions?
No, because we are already
screen.
at 48 minutes plus the 30 minutes we did plus a black screen. So I'm gonna hit this button.
Okay. Hey y'all, be careful. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice.
Nice
yeah.
people, be
Everybody-
aware.
Be cool.
If you everybody love everybody, be nice. It's a
Everyone's
good time.
fighting a battle that you can't see.
Nora.
It'll
It'll be interesting to see where they take this franchise and take the Dark Label back or Black. DC
I want to see
Black
more
Label.
Joker.
Bye everybody.
Deuces. Have a good weekend.
Joker sequel confirmed. Just kidding.
Oh no.